that just doesn't happen, in which case, you know, ask me in 2 days' time, I might change my pick, so. Yeah. There's just a lot of, I just think it's a more treacherous path, especially with Cell having already now beaten Reyno. I think it's a more treacherous path for Clem still.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we get into some ZVP is in the top left-hand side. We will see the Red Zerg player picking this map. It is dark.
And his opponent representing Storm, it is the Prince of Denmark, MaxPax.
So you're thinking Dark plays some gold bases, maybe he plays a bit funky. He's already on his way over to that gold base, so the call is very good already. And into get that hatchery started up. So there's that gold base coming straight away. Typically what I've seen from MaxPax when a gold base comes up is he does like to obviously be aggressive into it. He does typically start to play glaives and so on. Is that what you've been seeing, or do you think there's something else he might be trying to bring out in this series?
I think I remember on Alcyone, whenever I would take the gold base, very often he played glaives.
Yep.
So I remember the same. He would even play 5-gate glaives, so like very committed glaives. I think glaives is actually bad against the gold base because you have more units to work with. And the one shade that doesn't cover 2 different bases because of how far the base is away. So I actually think glaives is bad. And I would hate to see it on this map because this base is even easier to defend than Alcyone. Plus, it's further away from the Protoss side. I think he's just going to play normal, personally, but we'll see. I mean, so far he didn't even scout it, so he can't really change his game plan based on his opponent's gold if he doesn't see it, right?
That is actually kind of funny that obviously the hatch being further away is almost worse for the aggressor, and especially if you play glaives because of how powerful that shade should be. The fact it's further away might make it easier for Dark to defend. So I didn't really think about that, but that is a cool concept as the Cyber Core comes online for MaxPax. We'll see his first tech structure here in the first few moments, and he can decide what he wants to start doing very shortly.
Yeah, one thing that's also cool to notice is that the more I play StarCraft, the more I notice these types of things where whenever someone picks an unusual map, it's usually because they have a prepared strategy on it. Yeah. So that's why I was pretty sure he was going to go gold first. And I could observe this throughout my career from so many different players that I'm pretty sure they didn't talk with each other, but whenever they have a strategy that they have a good feeling for, they will pick this map earlier on, even if it's not the normal map pick that they have. Which sometimes can be a giveaway, so I personally don't like doing it, even if I have a strategy in which I'm very confident in. I leave it open for later, because I say to myself, I don't want to give anything away, and if I win, I need to win two different maps anyways. But there obviously is also a case being made for just simply having good momentum in a series, and that also being very important. And that's obviously why people are doing it, right?
It can also just feel good, right? If you have a build prepared on your opponent's map, it works, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I just took your map off of you. It puts a bit more pressure on the other guy, because now they're behind the series and behind a map pick, essentially, so
yeah,
pretty rough. Oracle coming across, a few drones moving about as we have ourselves the gates coming through, and the Oracle just heading to the upper left-hand side, and we'll try and go for a little bit of pressure here, and he's going to activate for 2 drones already, so MaxPax gets a couple workers, and he's just going to take a forward third base down on that low ground, so it's pretty common for the pros to ignore that back base. The half minerals does not do you any favors, and they really do try and take these forward bases instead a lot of the time. That's exactly the case for now.
This actually has changed from the last time I played against him, where he expanded at least in a line, definitely not the back base with the 4 mineral patches, but the other one first, and then this would be his fourth base. So I wonder why he changed that. This base, obviously you can attack it from the high ground a little bit, so I wouldn't mind seeing some Ravagers later on showing up from the high ground, or Hydras even. Like if you do a Hydra attack, you theoretically have to defend the high ground with Blink Stalkers. So I think that makes the Hydra attacks much more scary for the Protoss, because then you will have a massive concave while attacking, and you don't even need to run into your opponent. So yeah, I wonder how this is going to play out, because I haven't seen Protosses take this as their third base too often. I saw Hero do it, but he was pretty aggressive. So we'll see how MaxPax plays it out. So far, it's exactly the thing I mentioned previously. It's a quick third base, then from 2-gate straight into 6-gate with a Fortune at Twilight.
Well, we got the Oracle activating, just going to chase a few Zerglings away already. Blink and +1 coming up. Extra couple of gateways coming through as well, as that melee upgrade continues to come into place. Just going to get that straight up and rolling. For the moment, there's a hatch now there, all coming through. And just having the Oracles continue to control the map for now. They will continue to make their way about. Drop some Revelations down, knock down some of these creep tumors, open up this map space. And Queens for the moment just going to grab that Oracle. The Oracle going to take some damage as well.
That was rough for MaxPax. Not only did he not take the one drone that he could have attacked there and had there for free, but he lost an Oracle, and that was very high energy as well. So that's a very good pickoff for Dark. I would give him a sizable lead already, going up to 6 hatcheries, which is pretty crazy. But Dark never shied away from taking extra hatcheries.
Well, Hydra Den coming up, the Bane Nest coming through, and we will have ourselves, as Blinking +1 finishes, MaxPax has a chance to start getting onto the map. As, yeah, Doc just all the bases in the world and giving MaxPax a few targets to aim for with these Stalkers.
Wow, MaxPax actually wants to proxy gate Blink Stock roll in. That is so bad against mass bases, low worker count, +1 melee. Is the best builder in a match that Dark could have hoped for here. Right. Legit the best builder matchup, because he will have good Zergling upgrades, he will have a lot of Zerglings, and with a lot I really do mean a lot. And he already killed one of the Oracles, which are supposed to help the Stalkers once the Zerglings engage. So this is really a perfect setup for Dark to win the first map.
Well, Stasis Sword is going to catch a few Lings. Lings is going to be pulling back, Stalker's blinking, obviously pretty good trade initially, at least for MaxPax, though this area of, where you're fighting right now definitely favors MaxPax as he even blinks forward. He's going to go after some of these Queens as well. Dark is really standing his ground a little bit more than I thought he would. I thought he'd back away a little bit, try and buy a bit more time for reinforcements. He's got a lot more Lings pouring out. The Hydra's coming through as well. They're going to have Bruce Spines immediately to work with. And so, of course, these Stalkers pulling back into that choke point area once more.
Yeah, I don't think the Lings can fight here. So I'm also surprised by how aggressive Dark is trying to be right now. Obviously, the gateway is not done yet, so maybe he wants to take a fight before the quick warpins kick in, but I think he should have counterattacked, to be honest, with most of those Lings, and then try to just let the Protoss come even a little bit closer to his base before he starts to engage. But you can already see the supply difference. This is not normal. Yeah. When you see Hydra Ling Bane against a Blink Golem, you never see the Zerg being this far up in supply. And yeah, I mean, he can even now pull all the Queens forward quite handily, because he has so many bases where he can simply stack injects, bring all the Queens forward, use them to transfuse as well. It's going to be hard for MaxPax to further push forward here, as the Hydra numbers are already quite big, and even though this is a big stasis, or maybe now Dark should turn around.
Yep, just going to turn back a little bit, and just going to be seeing these Elds starting to get brought into this as well. They're going to have charge. MaxPax with the Robo Facility finishing, and Temple Archives on the way, so he's definitely feeling the idea of switching up a little bit of what he's up to at the moment, and moving along to the next stage. Maybe having Link still chasing back, and with Ainspeed about kicking as well, though, Dog's going to have another strength to kind of play with here very soon.
Yeah, Banespeed +2 is done already against just Stalkers. I think if Dark attacks, MaxPax is kind of dead. I think he wants to clear up the gateways first, but this is not a comfortable spot for the Protoss whatsoever. The stasis wards are kind of saving him here as he's retreating. And MaxPax is doing a good job. If he just stands at home on his side of the map, and then he tries to take a fight, there is no chance he can ever win this. But he's trying to be active on the map, and he's trying to clear units on the way towards his base. Forward blink there even against the Hydras.
Yep.
He needs to take the fight before Dark joins up with all of his forces, because the moment he does, MaxPax's army is just worse than what Dark has.
Yeah, Hydra's going to get here. Gold base is going to be under fire straight away. It's a lot of Lings going to step forward here. The Stasis Ward is going to catch just the single Zergling, in fact. So these Stalkers now in trouble. They get surrounded. They're getting chased, and MaxPax is getting demolished here on Neon Violet Square. And Dark style of choosing a good map for his opponent, but getting a win early is so far working out nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
He didn't get punished for the gold. His opponent didn't even scout, so he didn't have to be afraid of anything. And on top of that, he had the best builder matchup possible. Like, even without the gold, I think he would have had a good chance at winning this, simply because he chose to go for this low gas style, quick Ling upgrades. Ling Hydra is just so strong against these Blink Stock roll-ins. And yeah, you can see the result here, where MaxPax doing a good job with the Zealots on the other side of the map, and even if he might barely survive here, we're still looking at a 6-base Zerg. who's mining from a gold base.
Yeah, it's not really getting any better for you at any point soon, right? So looks as though that is going to be it, and Dark is going to take the opening map of this best of 5. So Dark gets the red Zerg player, who's up a game resides. It is going to be Dark up 1 game, and getting off to a good start. Let's see if he can keep the momentum going into game 2.
And his opponent down a map, but I think still the favorite maybe to win this series. It is Storm's MaxPax.
How do you feel about Leylines? Because this is a map which I know a lot of people have really enjoyed a lot. Do you feel the same? And how do you think it works out for this matchup?
I think it is a very standard map, but with some twists, which is always what the coolest maps tend to be, in my opinion, where you can definitely see some very map-specific features that make the map their own, but still the map should be reasonably balanced. I do think this map is slightly worse for Zurich than it is for both Protoss and Terran, simply because we tend to take more bases early on. And then we're forced to take these rich gas bases, and both of these rich gas bases, not only are they blocked, so they eventually have 6 mineral patches and a very late extra gas, but they're also in very bad positions for A, tank pushes, and B, later on in the game against like the Tempest late game that Protoss usually goes for.
Actually, some interesting points. We'll see what we get here. Is already hatchery on the natural of MaxPax, and Dark says that he is going to cause some trouble, and he's not going to give MaxPax an easy go of it. He's going to make his life difficult and make him have to play through some weirdness in the early stages here already. And yeah, going to try and take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think this is the best hatch block there is. If you get the 3 hatch before pull down, and you still get the hatch blocked on the other side of the map where you get the Nexus blocked, I think this usually favors Zerg. I've seen MaxPax have a response against this, and I do like the 2-gate response, but I don't like this one. I like the one where you get 2 zealots, because this one, the hatchery will finish, and your natural will actually be delayed forever, and you don't really have counter pressure. So I'm not the biggest fan of this response. Every Protoss has their own response. Some pull workers, some don't. All of them are slightly different. I'm not the biggest fan of this one, because all of your units are forced to stay at home for so long, and your Nexus is very, very late. So the last time I saw this happen was, I think, against Shin, and he ended up losing that game. He ended up quite far behind as well, so he even ignores the hatchery for now.
Yeah, just going to go across the map with the Adepts. That's very interesting. That means you're going to be extremely delayed when it comes to taking your own expansion. I mean, Queen has a shot of getting up here and maybe potentially getting a creep teamer down as well. MaxPax should be on top of trying to deny that. Yeah, I guess these 2 Adepts at least can put some pressure in.
They need to do some damage here as well. I'm not sure they can, because Dark already made a lot of Zerglings, and there's no drones at the natural, so that was a good choice by Dark to go back into his main base with the drones, oversaturate the main for a little bit, and just defend. And at the same time now he can multitask, and on MaxPax's side of the map he's already losing some mining. The Queen is out. Not sure I would have finished that Queen, unless the Cryptomore goes down. That's never worth it.
Yep. We just see a couple of Adepts going to try and move about. Lings will potentially take some damage. I've got the creep teamer does get denied this. That's going to be a good save, because if you let that up, that would be very frustrating and very difficult for you as the Zealot and Adept together. Just going to get rid of that hatchery.
Yeah, that was huge. The Oracle was supply blocked as well, by the way.
Oh. So MaxPax just off to a bit of a rough start. This has definitely worked in Dark's favor so far, thrown his opponent very off from kind of the momentum he's meant to be having.
Yeah, we'll see. Dark doesn't have a 3rd base yet, so these are the games where it's even hard for me to tell who really is ahead. Because theoretically, Dark has a lot of units out now, but he has been outmined. I think in a bit from now, it will end up being exactly as you said. I think it ends up being good for Dark because of simply how late this Nexus is. You're just going for 1 Zealot there instead of 2. Means the Nexus is so much later. He's had the 400 minutes for quite a while. But at the same time, obviously, the Oracles are early in comparison to where they usually would be for the game state, so...
Yep.
I don't know, it's a weird one.
And Nexus only just gets started now. Twilight Council starts up from MaxPax, so he's going to move into that pretty much right away here. And yeah, drop that Nexus down, and we will sit and wait to see where we are headed. For the next few moments, the Oracle coming across the other side, just going to be moving straight in, and activating to get rid of a creep teamer or so. And a little bit of damage done there. And yeah, we sit back, we see these Adepts moving about. We kind of wait to see if MaxPax can do anything with Oracle Adept, well, his Nexus gets about halfway done now.
Well, I think the main thing he's trying to do is deny the third base, but his Adepts were a little bit too far forward, so they're forced to commit in there now. The Oracles still can deny the third base, so Dark's own third base is very late. Like, this game looks super weird because the worker count is kind of fine, it's kind of even, but Dark's way out mining MaxPax right now because he's mining off 2 bases instead of just 1. MaxPax is simply long distance mining with a lot of workers. But then once the natural of MaxPax is done, usually there would be a third base already from Zerg. So it really is a very, very odd game. And MaxPax is even going charge to make it just that little bit weirder.
Charge will definitely make it an interesting next step because it's going to be charged and then not really much else to go with it. I mean, I guess obviously Robo coming up, and then you can maybe get Temple Archives too if you want to go kind of, charge out Archon. Oracle going to get some energy back on track, and we're just going to be seeing the drones continue to produce on through. Lings and Queens in production as we speak, and the Robo facility is halfway done currently for MaxPax. So yeah, if he wants to get any aggression going, the Prism will be available shortly. That will be obviously a major help, a major push in the right direction. As a couple Oracles take some shots, and yeah, we just wait. I mean, Dark is obviously going to get some time to get a Roach Roaring up. There's the Temple Archives, so we can get to Archons from MaxPax as well. Yeah, just setting up to potentially be aggressive here soon.
I really think he should have taken a third Nexus much sooner. I also think this is the place where MaxPax is the weakest if he just can't follow his plan. Like, usually he has this AI with this gameplay chart in his own mind where he knows exactly what to do if the opponent does X and Y. But this game has played out very weirdly, and I think at this point he's improvising, where I would much rather have like a hero in my game than a MaxPax if I'm a betting man and I want to see the Protoss win. I do still think that his spot is, I think this is almost even. Maybe he's a bit behind, but Dark's drone count is very bad. He will have enough roaches to defend this handily, but his own worker count is not that good.
Well, has the Prism open in the High Templar, so you can begin to Archon drop. You got the Oracles to play the protection there as well while they move into Archons. Lings will try a counter-attack. They might be able to get toward the third base. They go past the Adepts already, so in that third, they will be able to, sorry, not Adepts, but Zealots, but yeah, they'll be able to just run by. See, it's on the way. And Roach is going to start popping, so we can really start to deal with these Archons, which get some crew teamers to begin with. The first Stasis Sword's coming down. Pretty quick pushback, as we are just going to send a couple Lings off to pop that first Stasis.
Yeah, that's basically a delayed Cristiano. Which, this used to be the center opening, but now only Cristiano does it very late third base, but you only have good units, basically. You take your 4 gases early, you have a lot of Archons, you have a lot of Immortals, and that's what this build order is relying on, and I think Dark wants to all in. Dark stopped at 56 workers. He needs to get, okay, I was about to say, he needs Overlord Speed or something to get the Queens across, because without Queens, he will just simply die to the 3 Oracles.
Yep.
But yeah, Dark's going all in, and it's just a question of whether MaxPax has enough units. I think this build is not easy to all in into, because it has a lot of units early on.
Has a lot of tech units as well, right? Just like Immortals, Archons. They are usually the keys to defending, so as long as you can do a bit of protection on those, it can very quickly become very difficult for Dark, who is going to start a Hydra Den behind this as well, as the Archons get rid of the Overlord, and that Prism continues to move about and just make it as difficult as possible for Dark to have a justified attack. I mean, I feel like Dark doesn't really have enough to go across on that personally. I feel like he's going to run into a brick wall of defense.
Yeah, Dark did something very cool and a very mature move, where he scouted with a Zergling on the third base. He said, you have enough units to defend my all-in. He cancelled the Overlord speed, and he's now going for a later all-in, which is a Roach Hydra. I think what Dark is banking on is that MaxPax attacks into him.
Yeah.
If MaxPax goes Storm, I think he has like barely any chance of winning this game ever, because he's not going to win with an attack into Storm if MaxPax already has this many units. But if Dark can fake playing a normal macro game with these Hydras, say, you know what, I want to go into Lurkers, I want to tech up, and then MaxPax attacks into him, which is exactly what's happening right now, by the way. That's his best chance at winning the game, and I think his only chance.
Well, the Roaches are going to spread a little bit here as he looks to protect the hatchery from before. Storm does start from MaxPax behind it, so he's got something of a follow-up, as a couple of the Hydras getting caught initially by some Zealots on the other side. MaxPax actually able to take a pretty reasonable fight for himself here thus far, as that hatchery finishing up. Those Zealots surrounding Queen, man. The Zealots definitely causing issues. Some crossbars though connecting. Some of the Archons begin to die. MaxPax a bit busy and not microing back into the Prism. And Prism just very far back, and so it's another dead Archon. I mean, Dark is going to end up losing the 4th base. Those Zealots have still been causing issues.
Yeah, MaxPax can simply go back now. And his Storm is halfway done. He should be able to get home with all of those units. I don't think he needs to force a fight here anymore. I think he knows that as well. He can simply start +2, start up a 4th base, play from there. And he should always be in a good position.
Yeah. Gonna be seeing the Hydras, +2 missiles. Got augments all coming about. We do have ourselves the army. Coming across the map then from MaxPax coming back home and just setting up into his 4th base. And I mean, Dark is running around after the Warp Prism still, so he's not exactly having the best of moments as his muscular augments will finish, but I'm not sure Hydra Speed is going to do much apart from allow him to commit across the map and to give it a go, but against Storm, it feels pretty rough.
It does feel pretty rough. And I don't think MaxPax is going to attack anytime soon because he knows he killed the 4th base. He knows what units his opponent has. And I think he even saw that there was no hive. Yeah, he saw at some point that there was no hive in the main base as well, so... The game plan has become very easy for MaxPax, and I think Dark will not be left without much of a choice, other than attacking. I think I think the moment he's getting close to max out, he needs to fight on the other side of the map, and he just needs to try and either out-multitask his opponent or find a good fight somehow.
Yeah. Drop a little revelation down. Roach Hydra gonna get caught. The Hydra's Roach's Ravages gonna step up here for a couple moments. As I'll say, Archon, the Immortal's gonna be there. Good Storm's gonna hit a lot of the Hydra Ravager. As we do continue through, another Archon going down. A chunk of additional Zealots get warped in. We'll see a Pylon getting picked off. A couple more Zealots going down. It's a good Stasis Ward catching some Hydras and a Ravager on the other side. And we continue just kite away here with these Zealots, but I mean, MaxPax has a squad of Immortals which on their own could probably fight this army off. Never mind the Storms, never mind the Archons. So yeah, it does feel as though Dark trying his best to kind of attack everywhere to pull MaxPax apart a bit. It's just going to be an extremely uphill battle.
Yeah, that one put honestly surprisingly well for Dark. MaxPax made a couple of mistakes there. He activated Guardian Shield on the wrong sentry, then he left some High Templars to die in between the bases, that those were misrallied. And I mean, I applaud Dark for what he got done there, but if you just look at the unit count, as you said, the Immortals alone almost defend this. So yeah, he needs something magical if he wants to win this game.
Well, Hydra's Ravager going to come through. A couple of Zealots going to get caught down the right side immediately. As the Immortals are going to be pushing units back up the left as well. I mean, yeah, like you say, something magical. He's going to get to the Infestation Pit, but it just seems like a matter of time before MaxPax is realistically tying this one up, I think.
Yes, yes. I think Dark's kind of lucky that MaxPax is not mining from that 1 minute patch, just blocking the Rich Cast, because then it would be even more High Templars. Oh, huge Stasis Ward. That one is so bad, because now MaxPax has time to set this up and even get the Zealots right next to it if he wants to.
Yep, that's going to do a lot for him. First Storm here already, just dissuading some of the Hydras from coming into the fight. Dark again just trying to come in from all angles and just test MaxPax's army splitting, but the splits are good. The Stasis Wards are only going to help. It's an extremely difficult battle here for Dark. I mean, you can set up as well as you want to. Your opponent is just very well set up as well, so I guess we've already said a couple times, it's going to be tough.
It is going to be tough, but he just killed the one High Templar with a lot of energy. You know, is going back to kill the Zealot Bias. I mean, one way to trade effectively is to simply kill the Zealot Bias. Like, we saw, I think, 6 Zealots earlier getting caught in the bottom right-hand side. If you think about it, that's 1.5 Nexus just dying there for free. So he would need a lot of those, and then he needs to somehow survive. It's clear that he can't kill MaxPax anymore with what MaxPax has, but now Dark is the one that needs to somehow stay alive to even have a chance at winning this game. Best case for Dark would be MaxPax not realizing that he can simply go across the map and kill him now.
Yeah. I mean... Yeah. I mean, I'm not even convinced Lurkers are going to make that much of a difference with Dark. I feel like he's not going to have that many of them. I don't think the Immortals are going to care. I think this is going to be MaxPax able to just attack him no matter what. And the Lurkers don't even have upgrades yet, so as MaxPax already starts to arrive, we've not made any Lurkers just yet, so it's still just Hydra Ling. A lot of damage output, but obviously very weak to Storms, very preemptive Storms from MaxPax going ahead of the army rather than more towards on top of the army. Then a few zealots slip into the base on the right-hand side, and he is going to force his way up to this high ground, where obviously he can work on a hatchery. He's probably going to be able to turn on those hydras. He's got a good concave on them. He's going to get surrounded a little bit, but this is where the storms are really going to do some serious damage as well, as try and chase the left-hand side. But actually, Dark is still doing better than I thought he would, I guess, is what my conclusion is, but probably not enough anyway.
Yeah, this is looking quite close, but as long as all the gas units of the Protoss, especially the Immortals and High Templars, stay alive, you can't really engage on top of this. I think one thing that is making this look way closer than it should be is that there is no reinforcement here. Like, MaxPax is always warping in the Zealots on his side of the map, and now there is no High Templars left over. It's just Hydras against pure Immortals, so the Immortals need to go back. At the same time, Dark is losing all of his economy though to the Zealot run-bys. That's the warping that I talked earlier. It might arrive a minute late to the fight, but it still is very decisive victory for MaxPax, simply with that Zealot run-by. Even all of those Hydras are getting caught. MaxPax can kill those at some point. He also has a mothership on the way. He's now also mining from effectively 8 gas, because the rich gas has finally been cleared up. That pesky mineral patch there, blocking it.
Well, we sit and wait to see what we do next, as High Templars will continue to gather up. MaxPax is obviously in just a very comfortable spot. Mothership going to be coming online, makes it even better for him here as well. So get that Mothership up, get the Immortal popping, the Archon and the shield upgrade coming through as well. Plus 3 missiles. Again, Lurkers from Dark, but MaxPax at this point is just taking an extra base, being very safe, still setting up those Zealot run-bys and letting them do their thing.
Yep, the Zealots don't add too much into his main army, so I like that he always sends them across, because he has more of a poking army, has a very ranged army, and he wants to make it hard for Dark to engage on top of him with the storms, so the Zealots constantly going forward would be more annoying than anything for him. So I like that he always sends them by himself, which forces Dark to split his army, and that also forces, or that leads to better engagements at the front. Needs to watch out there a little bit. I don't think he can run up that ramp against the Lurkers, but he can run up that ramp. There's no Lurkers there. And the 5th base once again gets cancelled by the Zealots as well. I think this is a little bit of copium here from Dark.
Yeah. I mean, he's losing bases, he's losing drones. I mean, he is going to try and camp out on Lurkers and basically force MaxPax to bake some Tempests. It's kind of where we're at, but MaxPax can very comfortably do that, so it's not really too much of an issue.
I also think the only base that is really truly mining can simply be stormed from the low ground, and there's not much he can do about it. Like, the moment MaxPax realizes that storms can reach her, I think he's just gonna storm the drones.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Yep. One should be able to do that if he wishes, as we're going to see the Mothership actually going to pop cloaking. Apparently that's good enough to convince Dark that he should be out of this game. And we get tied up 1-1 between MaxPax and Dark here. And we have in the top right-hand side the Red Zerg player, who, as you said, has been trying to command the strategy aspect of this series. It is Dark.
And his opponent, a top 2 Protoss player worldwide, many call him the best Protoss in the world, it is MaxPax.
I think you brought up a good point, though, where it's like MaxPax likes to kind of do his thing, and he's most comfortable when he just gets to follow his kind of great plan. And so Dark trying to get in the way of that early is a very good way to potentially give him an advantage back, to potentially, throw this, throw MaxPax off in a big in a big way.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously play a lot of ladder against MaxPax, but I used to stream a game where I queued into MaxPax, and Special told me to go for a drone scout, so I was just like, okay, whatever, I'll just drone scout. And it actually threw him so far off his build, made him quite uncomfortable. That was like the worst game I've seen him play against me. And he just got destroyed. And all I did was scout with the drone and harass him. Yeah, he was so perplexed by why I would even do that, that, he just was completely off his game. Yeah, the AI couldn't comprehend just a simple stupid move, because there is no reason to drone scout, obviously.
Yeah.
That he was probably he was occupied thinking, and in StarCraft, even though it is a strategy game, you don't really want to be thinking. You have a lot of stuff that automatically happens in your head, and you usually tend to know what to do without really having to actively think about it. And the more you think, the slower you play, the more mistakes you make usually.
Well, it's That's why it's a difficult game, right? You gotta think, and you gotta be able to do things without thinking, and it ain't easy.
It ain't easy, yeah.
Ain't
You don't have to
easy.
tell me.
Yeah. Ain't easy at all. This one just goes, I mean, amygdala, again, that kind of gold base can be kind of a factor on this map and this matchup, right? So something to think on later on if we get to that stage. Do you think there's many more things Dark can try to kind of throw MaxPax off with in these games that he's not already used?
Well, he still has his Queen Ling Nidus all-ins, but I'm not even sure if that would throw him off his game, because you can hold that with just a normal opener. I think there are some Mets Ling run-bys that he can try to go for, maybe some Ling Bing counterattacks that Dark likes to do as well. I think that's the type of stuff that I'm still expecting. Maybe he will try once more in the series where he can try to block his opponent's natural. Other than that, I think we're mostly done with the early game stuff. Neon is the only map where you can actually take a gold base early. And yeah, this map I actually thought, I mean, I think this map is slightly good for Protoss, but Hearthstone felt so heavily. I casted this map recently with Hearthstone, and he felt so heavily that this map was terrible for Zerg that I'm starting to see it a little bit now, but Zergs tend to not veto it. Zergs tend to just veto bigger maps, simply because we have a lower chance of finishing our opponents on those maps.
A couple of Adepts going to get some drones. As the Zerglings pull across, one Adept will go down already. So on just falls. Again, the Queens and the drones still building up. Hatchery coming through. Gateway will go into the wall off as well. It's just going to put that in position. And yeah, Oracles will be popping out, and a few Lings will just test the waters across the map as they come to the other side.
Yeah, I think that was an okay trade for both players, but that was uncharacteristic. I think if MaxPax kited a little bit better there with the adapts, he still would have lost it, but he would have killed at least 2 more Lings. So, well, this is on West, right? So maybe it's because of that. Maybe it was a bit of a ping issue. Either way, decent. First 2 adapts from MaxPax, also okay defense from Dark. Wouldn't really say I favor either player heavily there. MaxPax now tries to commit in. And that's, once again, good defense by Dark. Defending it well with his first 2 queens. He has a Spore ready in the main base. No Spore at the third base. So very, very standard defense. Dark killing a big supply block now, though. Not a single O-Lord on the way, and that one really hurts.
Queen's going to be pushing the Oracle around to the left. Oracle on the bottom side getting pushed around 2. Nexus halfway done. Probe still building. And we'll see what Dark does from his lair. But the Twilight Council starts from MaxPax. This all starts to look pretty darn normal. And looks like we might get from the kind of start of the game, a very regular, just kind of ZVP developing.
Yeah, no +1 melee, so maybe quick Hydras from Dark. This lair is a bit too late to go for some weird Nidus, although that really hasn't stopped Dark before, and I've seen him go for Nidus even with this lair timing. But if I had to predict what he's going to do now, I would say Hydra first. Just a quick Hydra, then get up Hydras and go from there.
He's going to get that. Oracle takes some shots. Creep Demon does not even go down, so the Oracle just going to be low on HP. And the Blink and the +1 starts from MaxPax, so you can get those upgrades started right from the get-go here. Get that underway, and away we go. Gates and the Robo Facility coming up as we speak.
The Robo Facility is actually quite early. I'm wondering why he's going for that. It might be Colossus, actually. I haven't seen MaxPax play Colossus in quite some time. Oracle is out of position, no shield battery here, which means that the Adept dies against the Link counterattack. 2 workers also die. Now the Oracle is back at home. It's forced to activate itself, and a lot of mining time lost here as well. That was a very, very good Link backstab by Dark. I think that equalized the game. The reason Dark was a little bit behind was purely because of his own supply block. But now I would almost say he's a bit ahead, because those MaxPax lost a lot there. 3 workers, a lot of mining time, and Adept. Has to be RoboBay, right? Or else why is the Robo so early?
Yep.
Yeah.
RoboBay. It's a good spot. A early RoboBay it's going to be. So MaxPax playing into the Colossus. As Dark, unfortunately, given his Hydra Den a cuddle, 5 drones are not actually going to be useful. Touching the Hydra Den. Fix that, and he does that now. And we do have, like mentioned, obviously, then the Hydras are popping out. Upgrades are coming through from them. Rotoron coming up as well. So Dark is going to have Hydras quickly, but his opponent having Colossus on the way soon. Going to be a good answer to those Hydras in the lanes.
Yes, if Game 1 was a very good builder matchup for Dark, Game 3, the one we're at currently, is a very good builder matchup for MaxPax. Dark wants to all-in with Roach, Ling Hydra, Ravager. The way Dark does it is always he adds a late roach point and then starts to add roaches. If Dark realizes there's a rollbay, he should instantly forget about the attack and instead try and go into lurkers. And then it's not that bad for him. Because lurkers are good against Colossus. But if he doesn't understand and he actually runs into the Colossus, it's bad for him. Okay, I'm not sure if he scouted it, but he actually starts the infestation pit, and that's very important.
Yeah, gonna get some important tech on the way. Ability to go into Hive, get Vipers out to deal with the Colossus a little bit is going to be a huge move in your favor. As the +2 attack, Thermal lands and charge, all coming up as well. The Stalker's going to step up. They're going to get rid of a little bit of creep spread. They're going to get rid of a Queen nearly. The Lings and the Hydra still trying to move over. As the Stasis Wards will start to pop, and yeah, I mean, MaxPax trying to poke about, but Dark getting himself time to get into that infestation bit, as you mentioned, and to get the tech up from there.
Yeah, it's also just a single robot, so he's just going to have 1 Colossus at first and then 2 eventually. So if MaxPax wants to inflict damage, he will need to go before that usual critical amount of Colossus where you have 3 or 4. These are decent trades, but honestly it's not that many Stalkers. The reason it's not that many Stalkers is because he went for that early robo that really cuts into your Stalker production. Dark also realizing that now, starting to attack. He needs to watch out though. The Colossus are for him still hidden unless he paid attention towards the natural.
Well, Hydra's actually going to be really careful here. They're stepping so far forward. With the Colossus here, you can obviously laser down a bunch of those Lings and Hydras quickly, so Hydra's out to get their speed, going to be able to back away more quickly. Did not walk into that next stasis, which feels very, very decisive. If it had poured a bunch of units there, that could have been rough. As, yeah, Stalker's going back the other way, and a little bit of energy overcharge on the Oracles and so on. Going to keep those healthy, and MaxPax still poking around at the front as Hive is about to be done.
Yeah, this is a rough spot for Dark because he needs to chase this army if he wants to engage, and the army is outranging him, and MaxPax is just messing Stasis Wards on the back of it. So he's dealing more damage to the Zerg units than the Zerg units are dealing to him, and he always retreats towards the Stasis Ward. So all of these fights, theoretically, MaxPax doesn't need to lose any units, but obviously it's difficult to micro everything perfectly. Zealot run by arrives at Dark's third base. He already has some roaches in position, so that should be a decent trade for Dark. But can he fight the Colossus Stalker army at the front? It doesn't look like he can get on top of it. And I don't think he even has his Vipers on the way. Now the first 2 Vipers are restarted. It will still take quite some time until those actually pop out. And up until then, MaxPax can pretty much trade for free with the army that he has.
Yeah, well, just going to be seeing the Colossus continue to do exactly that. The laser beams putting in some work. The Vipers are coming up, but we're going to have ourselves a Prism here shortly as well to help with this all, and even more Zealots coming through. MaxPax's army really feeling like it can trade for days right now. The Force of Dark just does not reach those Colossus. He's desperate for these Vipers to get some energy to come forward, but he lost so much in this process, already hurting heavily at this point. Going to be rough for him.
Yeah, MaxPax needs to watch out a bit. He's floating a lot of resources, which should be in the army right now, but it is currently not fighting for him. Oh, it's even lost a lot of Stalkers. They're moving forward, trying to snipe the Viper. He now starts up Storm. He really needs some High Templars. The moment he has High Templars, his army once again is way better than the one of Dark. And Dark really needs to start Lurkers. I'm not sure if he even has a Lurker then.
He does not.
He does not. So the moment you're up against Storm plus Colossus with Roach Hydra Viper, I don't think he's gonna be happy. So Dark preferably wants to fight right now. Like legit right now he wants to attack. He obviously doesn't know that Storm is not done, but he just has to hope at this point. Dude, this is scary for MaxPax. He has a lot of army on the left side, ready to run by. And all of these High Templars are just wasted supply. Dark even gets the Abduct on the Colossus. Oh, and he morphs into Archons, which signifies, Dark, that there is no Storm done yet, and that the supplies are looking good for MaxPax, but his army is just bad right now.
Yeah, Dark is going to keep on advancing forwards. At the very least, he's getting this base to the right side. He's trying to chase. Obviously, units getting caught in stasis, slowing down the advance. He'll stop to try and finish off that Nexus. There was also MaxPax pushing away some units on the left-hand side during this. Space goes down, puts MaxPax down at 3 bases with the 4th base on the left side now re-establishing. Storm is about to be done, but at this point in time, we have got 1 High Temple on the map. So not a lot of Storms available. Now that Storm is actually available to be used, and MaxPax is getting chased back around the other direction. Those Vipers already back home, regaining some energy so they can get going again. The Zealots do a little bit, but not too much. And Dark has a fantastic shove back across the other side.
Yeah, he needed that in order to even have a chance at this game. Storm now is done. There are 2 storms on the left-hand side. This army should still be better for Dark. The Archon goes down right away. It's simply an Immortal and a High Templar standing there with the next Archon about to finish up. On the right side, MaxPax could honestly blink forward, and I think he should. He instead is gonna try to save his left side base. I'm not sure if he's even in time to save it. I think MaxPax has made a couple crucial mistakes too many. And he let that game slip. He was floating a lot of resources. He could have started Storm like legit 2 minutes before he started it without it affecting his unit count whatsoever. And then the attack on the right side would have never worked because he would have had like legit 8 storms. But with those storms not being in time, Dark's army is now still better than MaxPax's. However, if MaxPax manages to max out, I still favor him. It's gonna be hard though to get there.
Well, Mothership coming up, at least. Dog is going to keep up the pressure as he starts to open up some rocks on the upper left-hand side. And a chance to push into that newer 4th base. This was the replacement 4th from losing the one on the 6 o'clock, so Dog going to try and push in over here. We'll have those couple of Vipers. He's not far from the +3 missiles, but that ain't ready yet. And of course, this time MaxPax does have Storms to utilize. See how Dog does as MaxPax's army, you can see, is just not very large. He does step into that Storm initially, gets an Abduct on an Immortal, so important unit to Abduct initially. He's going to go and just drop a Blinding Cloud with his next Viper before it goes down. He's going to break this base, and so MaxPax cannot keep this very important piece of, mining and economy alive for himself. Storms here are kind of a mix of successes, as we do see the Hydras lunging their way out of trouble sometimes as well. Dark is going to keep on chasing. The High Templar's out of energy, so it's not a bad time to be chasing. As there's one more Storm coming down, though. And does that dissuade Dark? I mean, Dark is really sending this.
Yeah, Dark is overstepping. He doesn't need to keep going. MaxPax will be out of resources. At the same time, he lost 15 workers. Maybe that is what made him feel forced to run into MaxPax's army there, but he way overstepped. And now he's down in army supply, and all of a sudden MaxPax has turned it around with a simple Zealot run by towards the 4th base of Dark. And then Dark just overcommitting. And now in low economy scenarios where Dark also has not only lost his army, but also lost most of his economy, I always favor the Protoss because they can, of the 6 gases that they have, make a lot of High Templars, which is just the best thing you can do with the gas. The best thing the Zerg could do in theory would be Lurkers, but as we said earlier, there is no Lurker then, so I can't really do much.
Yeah, and that was just, he did everything he needed to. He got the 4th base, and then for some reason he got absolutely obsessed with the idea of pushing towards that ramp and pushing up that ramp. And that obviously costs him in a big way at a big important point in this game.
Yeah, Dark trying to circumvent the army of MaxPax needs to watch out that he doesn't get flanked by MaxPax's army, because MaxPax can simply recall as well. He leaves some Stalkers here to try and deny some gold-based mining, which I like. Did he recall parts of his army? I don't think he did.
The ship's on the way back over there. A few Stalkers left behind. Hydra's just going to lunge away. As again, Dark trying to just get rid of some eco and move on, but he's the one losing a lot of drones, loses a hatchery of his own. 50 minutes on the amygdala, and we're really in a scrappy scenario with MaxPax, who has a little bit of tech that should work well in a scrappier scenario. Dark with just units that are good in numbers, but how many of those numbers can he really amass at this stage? Can he work his way through the tech of MaxPax? Pretty intense few moments as Dark is oversaturated on the bases that he does have. Losing that base on the right is going to suck for him.
Good counterattack once again by Dark. MaxPax is a bit too eager to move out. He also drops those time warps. Very... Like, he's very trigger happy on those time warps. He loses 14 workers, 5 Zealots, and a High Templar for completely free on the left side, which is the next turn in this back and forth slobber knocker here that we have on Amygdala. And he's forced to recall, oh no! An extra Archon goes down, and Dark with a simple army split completely turns this game on its head. I would have told you this game is 80% 20, maybe even 90-10 for MaxPax, in MaxPax's favor. And with that simple army movement, and army split off Dark, he's now once again back. I still think MaxPax's army is better, but Dark will continue to always base trade. So now it's not easy for MaxPax anymore, because MaxPax will be forced to split his army, and the question is, how exactly do you split your army? He doesn't have a lot of map presence, so he's also lacking map vision and the knowledge of how exactly Dark split his own army.
Roach is getting caught in the center. Gonna go for the recall here. So
that's a misclick.
that is, yeah. No, as I try and process, because I see the units underneath the mothership recalling, and the mothership is the one recalling. I don't quite know what's happening, but yeah, misclick in a pretty bad situation, as we are going to just see that going on cooldown. Then Dark is already attacking on different sides. I mean, MaxPax is going to be able to pincer in onto this bottom right army, so Dark kind of has to just commit through to the base or onto those units a little bit harder. I just don't think he's going to win this fight at all. Storms keep coming down. The Hydra's getting softened up. The units breaking into the natural have done so extremely slowly, and Dark supply is now plummeting.
Dark supply is plummeting. This was beautifully done by MaxPax. As I said before, the only way Dark can win is if he base trades. He needs to always threaten to base trade, because he's not going to win a straight up fight, and then he will eventually outmine MaxPax to the point where he can win the game. But MaxPax pretended like he was attacking. He still left a bunch of Stormers at home, and then he used the army to come in from the back. And yeah, Dark was simply overcommitted with
this next game of the series. In the bottom right-hand side, down a game, it's going to be our Blue Zerg. It is Dark.
And in the bottom left, it's the Protoss player from Denmark for Storm is MaxPax. Yeah, I would be so confused as well.
Yeah.
They have 2 out of their 3 people in their lobby. Am I hearing that correct?
I think you just share a Discord screen at this point.
Yeah, I don't think you... Or you
Say
restream.
no. Just say no.
There's no delay, right? Or is there a delay in this?
There's no delay. You can literally you can just
yeah,
stream
so he
Discord.
could... Yeah, or you just restream someone else.
Yeah, too. They figured it out. It's too late.
I mean, now,
like
now you definitely don't do it. Okay, okay. For a second, I thought, okay, we regame, and he leaves the game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. MaxPax and Dark are just like, this guy just randomly started saying okay as well.
Yeah, and the builders are already picked. It was 15 hatch against a potential block that didn't end up blocking, so...
Yep. Alright. Well, onto this game number 4 then. El Dorado, talk to me. I mean, obviously super interesting map. So many ways it can play out with kind of directions and where you expand to and so on. What are we thinking? Is there anything that we're kind of looking at in particular here, or kind of like diving towards? What are your thoughts?
So I believe that as a Zerg, I prefer expanding in the bottom of the map. So I would take the triangle third base. I would mine the gold minerals. And then afterwards, I try to play both sides. So I expand towards the top on the fourth, because that's the safest fourth, and then I take the gold base with the 2 gases in the very bottom. And then you get quite some momentum from the extra minerals you mine from the gold base, and you can be aggressive. It's not good for early aggression necessarily, but for the later aggression, for like lurker timings, for massive doom drops, for swarm hostiles, because the Protoss cannot, yeah, exactly, he cannot cover that area next to the main base where the drops are coming from. It's difficult to spot the Zerg going for these tactics, so it's an interesting map because you have basically the entire bottom side of the map in the mid game and late mid game for yourself, and that can make it difficult for Protoss to exactly know where you're attacking from very often.
Well, do you have the Adept going to go after the Ling, going to get that grab in the natural? Stargate coming online from MaxPax here as well. We got Adept, our Warp Gate, probes all coming through. The Adept gets a circle into the main base. And that Ling speed still coming up to being about halfway done as a Hatchery and Overlord and drones as well, all building up from Dark here for this game. For Void Ray from MaxPax going to be the interesting part of this, to push back some of that scouting information and potentially do something behind this that then Dark is not going to be able to see easily.
Yep. Yeah, Void Ray is good also later on for denying the overlords, and also the fourth base, no matter which one you take, is a little bit away from the rest of the bases, so you can try to use it to delay the fourth base a little bit. I don't mind seeing the Void Ray at all. On this map, he even goes in quite deep to see if he can get something done with the first Adept. He saw that Overlord, I'm very certain.
Yeah, he's going to turn around. Void Ray will indeed go and take its free kill and trying to interrupt Dark's setup as Dark makes 5 Overlords all at once to try and make his way out of this. So 5 Overlords all coming up, a couple Queens still coming through. And Yeah, MaxPax just takes a third base, which the feelings are going to spot in the next few moments. The first Oracle is about to spawn, though, and if that just moves up, it should be able to defend against those things quite easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those Zerglings at best can try to go for the Adept kill. As the Overlord on the other side, another Overlord dies to the Void Ray. That's a mistake from Dark. I think he had enough time to bring all of his Overlords back. Now this one does not matter as much because, as you said, he made 5 Overlords at once, but that in itself is also a big mistake, so I give the early lead for sure to MaxPax after this early game.
Right, Council, a couple gates, the Nexus all coming through, the couple probes coming about, Queen's gonna get there, and that Void Ray gets turned around. So, a couple drones though, already being taken out. Now more drones as well. As we hit on the bottom side, we're gonna get to 4 drones killed. As the Resonating Glaives starts up as well.
Yeah, he did play Resonating Glaives on this map against Cyril as well, but the map itself is actually quite bad for Glaives. It's very easy to wall at the front, so the Adepts have a hard time going in between the bases or even entering your bases, to be honest, and the rush distance itself is quite long. That being said, Dark's Roachborn is super late, like super giga late. That's not safe at all against Resonating Glaives, so we'll see how it works out. I still think MaxPax needs to mine some minerals in the middle if he wants to realistically have a go at this, because otherwise Dark will simply wall the front. I can't believe that Oracle survived. It had 3 queens on the top and 3 queens on the bottom starting to attack it.
It was almost destined to die. It was meant to fall as MaxPax gets the Glaives up and running here. In the next few moments, the Adepts are making their way across the map, and the Roach run will finish very soon, as the Overlords will finish as well. As Dark has been making so many Overlords preemptively here, he's going to have a lot of free supply, so he can just focus on spamming units out, and that's going to be what he needs, but the Adepts are already arriving as Roach start producing.
Yes. That's a good sign for whoever is on the Adept. The last supply block actually saved Dark, because he didn't make extra drones. He had no idea this was coming, but he stopped at a perfect drone count by accident, more than anything else. Still, the Roaches are too late. The Glaive Adepts enter Dark's bases before he has any Roaches out. And he also couldn't block the Adepts from going towards his main or his natural, so all of his drones are running right now, and this is a disaster of an early game from Dark. I think it all started with the 5 Overlords at once. He already was behind from where he was supposed to be, and then he obviously tried to cut some corners, but it ended up not working out well for him, because MaxPax did go for the Glaives. 13 workers went down, and Dark is... I mean, he's very far behind in economy right now.
Yeah, not really much to add to that. This is disastrous for Dark, down 15 workers. He's obviously not on some kind of amazing tech. He's going to throw an infestation pit down, and I can only guess maybe he wants to try and see Swarm Host or something to try and pull him back. Cause I mean, he's just dead, right? Like, I mean, teching into infestation pit seems almost crazy when he's already behind. Plus one on Blink on the way from MaxPax, and as MaxPax gets aggressive, it's going to be extremely tough for Dark to hold on.
Yeah, I think realistically the best thing he can do is try to turtle to lurkers. I mean,
yeah,
he can try to. I mean, he can try to go into Swarmos, but then he is risked dead if MaxPax decides to move out, like ever.
Yeah, maybe the turtle to lurkers is definitely the best route to go on right now. As the Temple Archives comes up from MaxPax, so he'll add himself some extra setup in this. He's obviously clearly aware he's ahead, just going to play it very safely. As Prism pops out, he can at least be pressuring with the Stalkers, so he's going to begin to do that right now. Coming across the map as Dark is just stacking up some money and waiting to show us what he's going to spend it on. Swarm Host it is.
Swarm Host it is. Also hitting another supply block. This was not the finest games that we've ever seen out of Dark, but yeah, how does he get the Swarm Host across the map is now the next question, as MaxPax is beginning to be active with his Stalkers. He's not even very committed with these Stalkers. He's floating a decent amount of minerals and now is teching into Storm, +2 Immortals on the way. Okay, there it is. There's the Nidus. Because he can't walk past these Stalkers with his Swarm Host. I think that's not an option. He's also trying to take this fort base. This one is very optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, this is never going to get up. MaxPax takes his time to come and deal with it, though, at least. Your Adepts in the Prism going to go down the bottom side. As our Roaches just going to move around the front again. Immortal Charge all coming up, +2 attack and Storm. Get that Prism into the main base, so MaxPax poking at the front, going to be dealing damage in the main, going to force the Swarm Host to be used defensively. There's never a good sign. Defensive Swarm Hosts very rarely work out.
Yes, defensive Swarm Hosts. I mean, they just delay whichever attack is coming towards him. Good pickup there on the War Prism. That one was actually huge. That means he needs to leave no units now in the main base. That A move with the drones was very questionable from Dark. I don't even think these adepts would have been microed otherwise. So he loses 14 extra workers. He's up in supply right now, but he's very all in. And he's not even across the map with all of his units. If he gets a fort base knight with that locust wave, which he won't because the knight has got killed, he then still would be miles behind, just to give you guys a better picture or a better understanding of
just how dead he is.
What the situation is looking, yeah.
Yeah, not ideal in this light, as Stalkers are going to have to blink away from those roaches. And we do have a couple more locusts going to pop up. The Stalkers are going to pull back. We do have our charge about to finish. 7 more roaches and plus 2 missiles coming through. Nice Days going to catch some of those roaches, going to allow you to maybe continue this fight more than you could have done beforehand. MaxPax still got the blink. He is very low HP on a lot of those Stalkers. Actually going to try and pull up to the top where he's got reinforcements arriving. Like I say, some of the Stalkers just very low HP. Having to be careful about it, but he works his way around the upper right. He's going to find himself on the incoming 4th base of Dark top right, so he can pick his way at this. And MaxPax is just running Dark around in circles.
Yeah. Sick play from MaxPax, now controlling Stalkers on both sides to make it impossible for Dark to get across the map with a Swarm host.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what Swarm host from behind looks like. Like, you just can't... if you even get across the map, somehow you die on your own side of the map.
Yeah.
But you can't even get across, realistically.
Oh, roaches are still popping out defensively. Stalkers going to see those small hosts actually going to start jumping on them, and Scripper Stalkers can always just move down south and blink over the mineral line on the gold if they need to get away to some safety, which is what they are seemingly kind of playing toward a little bit right now. Now units still gathering together, and you see another Swarm host going down. Vordre is still active. Swarm hosts are popping. I mean, yes, MaxPax looks as though he's got this series under heavy control.
Yes.
Yeah. MaxPax takes it in the quarterfinals and is going to advance through